When you have dogs and babies in the house together at the same time, it's a very good idea to have a safe place for each of them. Safe place for the baby, a different safe place for the dog. So let's talk a little bit about what would be a safe place for your baby. Now, one obvious place is the nursery. If you have a separate nursery for your baby, that might be a really good place to create that spot for your baby. If you're going to use the nursery for that, and even if you're not, it's very important that there be some guidelines about what to do about the nursery, because we never want to have the dog just wandering into the nursery on his own when the baby might be there alone. So very important either to decide that you're not going to let the dog come in the nursery at all, which is what some people do. Other people invite the dog into the nursery, but when they decide to do it, so that it's not the dog's option. Whatever you decide to do, when you're not there, it's a good idea to have a barrier so that the dog can't wander in and out of the nursery. And that could be a baby gate, it could be a closed door, there might be some other barrier that you have in your house. But even with that, if the baby's in the nursery and you're not right there with your baby, and you put up that barrier, let's say the baby's taking a nap, and you're not in the room, and you put up a baby gate, it's still a good idea to keep track of where your dog is. So that's one spot. There could be another safe place for the baby, a place where the baby likes to be, maybe in your room, or a special spot in the family room, something like that. Whatever it is, it needs to be a place where the baby is not going to encounter the dog, just so that they can have a time away from each other. And so when you set that up with toys, a blanket, something to cuddle with, whatever it is for your baby, think about the dog too, and where the dog is, and maybe that's a time for the dog to be in another room with a chew toy, or spending some time outside, something like that. So those are just some ideas about how to think about that. Now, what about the dog? What about a safe place for the dog? And that is important, and it becomes more important as your baby grows and develops and becomes more mobile. Because once babies start crawling and then walking, problems can come up with the dog. A lot of babies are fascinated by the dog and want to chase the dog, and some dogs get scared and so on. So it's a good idea to have a place where your dog can be relaxed, take a nap, have a chew toy, whatever the dog likes to do, where you know that the baby is not going to come in. So that could be a separate room. For some dogs, they feel very safe in their crates or kennels, and that can be a good place for your dog to be. It could be a place outside. So it's important to think about places that your baby is not going to have access to. One special caution is for dogs that have a favorite spot on the couch. Because when babies get a little older and they're crawling and then they're walking and they're pulling themselves up, a lot of babies like to pull themselves into a standing position on the couch. And if the dog is up there and the baby is cruising along the couch toward the dog, that's something that some dogs get very defensive about. So as far as the couch is concerned, it may be your dog's favorite spot, but it might not be a good place to consider the dog's special spot away from the baby. So those are some guidelines, some things to think about. And there are many different options. If you want help with that, if you go to my website, yourdogandbaby.com. There's a lot of help on there that can make it easier for you to figure these things out. So check that out. And good luck with your dog and baby, keeping them both safe and having a good time.